You're watching Black and Gold Today.
Welcome back to the show. For many fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they certainly had their doubts throughout the course of this season that their team would actually make the postseason.
But in this week's edition of Fan Sound Off, it's all about what the vibes are going into the playoffs now that they're here.
I am surprised because there's a lot of things that had to happen for us to get in the playoffs. I think we had a 10% chance of winning or going into the playoffs. So everything fell into place that needed to fall in place, and I think we do have a pretty good chance against Kansas City. You know, knowing Pittsburgh, they can surprise us at times, so I can't wait for Sunday.
It was an emotional show. I think we all were surprised because I don't think a lot of people had hopes on Jacksonville, but I did. I loved you, Trevor. And now we're sitting in a place where if that defense that showed up the last 2 weeks decides to come to Kansas City, I think they have a huge chance of winning this game.
Oh, they always do. It's no different than when they won Super Bowl 40, being the lowest seeded team and, you know, just working their way up to the top. Everyone loves that underdog story, and the Steelers do it better than anybody else.
I'm watching the ticker the entire game, seeing Jacksonville winning unexpectedly, and then we go into overtime, and Boswell kicks the field goal to make it to the playoffs, and then the Raiders game, and they win, and somehow we advance. It's unimaginable and so much fun to be a Steelers fan. It's also terrible on our heart and our anxiety, but do I think that we can make it through the playoffs? Absolutely. It's the playoffs now. I have no doubt that this team can go all the way. I know that we're not the strongest on the field right now, but we haven't been in the past, and we've been able to win Super Bowls, so I'm hoping that this is a storybook ending for Ben.
And our thanks to everybody on their opinions. Time now to welcome in our third member of our team, videographer Kent Urbanski. And Kent, you were in Kansas City not too long ago. First of all, how would you sum up this regular season for the Pittsburgh Steelers? And of course, what are their chances going into the playoffs?
I would say surprising, like everybody else is using that word, I believe. But exciting too, you know. I mean, we didn't expect them to be here. They needed all the help that they needed to get in, and they got it.
They certainly did.
And you know, and when we were coming back from Baltimore, we're listening to that night game on the radio, and just when you think, you know, when the 15-point lead that was taken care of, boy, it went down to dramatic wire, so to
Multiple
speak.
fourth downs.
Yeah,
for that to all unfold.
What was it, 5 or 6 4th and 10s?
It was
just
crazy.
wasn't, you know, it just wasn't short yardage stuff. So. You know, the Steelers went out there 3 weeks ago now, and, you know, they lost big, but 17 of those points came on turnovers. And so if they can limit those turnovers and flip that script and get the turnovers, they can stay in this game, I think.
And Mike, we heard in your piece moments ago just about their chances, and Ben being sarcastic. Everyone's been taking it literally that this team has no chance. He was going tongue-in-cheek on this, but what are their chances as far as going in there and putting up a fight?
I think this is the perfect position you want to be in if you're this team, because they are going to go in and play loose and say, hey, no one thinks we have a chance. We do. No pressure. Go in there, play your best football, and again, just kind of let it rip, and maybe you have a 4th and 1, you go for it you wouldn't have otherwise, or you know, you have a guy step up that you're not expecting to. I think this is a great position for this team to be in because nobody's expecting much of them. I think they can bring a lot to the table. And like you said, Kent, they can flip that script. And if they can be the team forcing the turnovers, they could be the one dictating the tempo and how this game goes.
And finally, Kent, the last time these two teams met in the postseason was back in the divisional round a handful of years ago. Chris Boswell was the man of the hour, kicking 6 field goals. They can't do that in this matchup.
No, absolutely not. You better score some points. You have to be in the 20s somewhere at least. You can't, you know, to be in this game. You got to get Ben to the 4th quarter. You know what I mean? And if you get him to the 4th quarter with maybe a 7-10 point swing, they got a shot. You know, I like their chances. And you know the Steeler faithful is going to turn out.
Oh yeah.
So you know, if the script flips their way and they're hanging in this game, you're gonna, you know, I expect Steeler Nation to help them out.
All right, guys, thanks for your perspectives. Really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to the coverage of that game this coming Sunday. Meanwhile, coming up next on Black and Gold today, we'll have our flashback feature and our picks. Stay with us. Brings us to the terrible towel standings, and take a look at this. The regular season ends with a 3-way tie. Kent able to pick up another towel for Week 18 based on 1 point difference between you, Mike, and Kent on that decision. So 3 of us have 4 towels. Could this be the tiebreaker going into the playoff weekend?
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really interesting race to see how this finishes out. I'm glad that we have the opportunity with the playoff game to try and settle this, hopefully, between the 3 of us, because no one wants to end in a tie, right? That's like the theme of the season this year, right?
And it'd be the long off season of bickering going
Everyone
back
would wonder
and forth.
who the true champion is.
Well, let's take a look at our picks for the Super Wild Card matchup. Kent is going to go with his heart. We're going to go with the odds of a repeat performance from what we saw in Week 16. Mike, how do you feel about your pick and especially this matchup?
Well, we didn't touch on it much, but I think the addition of Travis Kelce in this matchup that we didn't see the last time around could play a big factor in the Chiefs having more offensive success, not necessarily needing those turnovers or points off turnovers to get it done.
We'll see how it all unfolds on Sunday night. That does it for this edition of Black and Gold Today. From all of us here, have a great weekend.
Thanks for watching. Join us next week for another edition of Black and Gold Today.